and welcome. Today we are graphing quadratics in Vertex form. So we're going to be given an equation in standard form, and what we need to do is change it to Vertex form and then draw a graph of it on the graph provided. Okay, here we go. So we've got y equals negative 2x squared minus 16x minus 31. I made for you a little how-to on the right with steps, but I changed my steps a little bit. You'll see that the steps here on the screen are different than the steps that you have on your worksheet. Just want to point that out. So step 1 that I have on the screen, factor out negative 2 on the right side. So let's do that. Let's factor out a negative 2. So if I factor out a negative 2, I'll have a positive x squared, a positive 16x.
Wait, wouldn't it be a positive 8x squared?
Woo! Nice.
Thanks, Jack.
Positive 8x and what is half of 31?
15.5.
Okay, positive, but don't worry, it won't stay like that for long, because eventually we're just going to get that 15.5 over to the left anyways. All right, so now I got to get the negative 2 to the left side. So my step number 2 says divide BS by negative 2. I changed things a little bit on your worksheet. Divide both sides by negative 2. That's what I put for step 2. So I'm going to divide it like this. So over here on the left, just like we were talking about last lesson, is my storage area. And I want you to leave space, please. I want you to leave space because we're going to have to add and subtract numbers to it. And I'm obviously already writing too big. So you need to write smaller on your paper, for sure. Okay? All right. Get that 15.5 over. Now we're actually completing the square. So get the 15.5 over. So I'm going to minus 15.5. I want to do something because I think, yeah.
Yep.
So much better. Okay. All right. Do not worry about all these decimal numbers because what's going to happen is it'll all work out in the end. Leave a little space. X squared plus 8x. Now here's the time that I'm still completing the square. The 8 is my b. I need to do b divided by 2 squared. What is 8 divided by 2? 4. So just do, please, 4 squared. And the 4 is the number that goes in parentheses for my perfect square trinomial. So that 4 is something special. Red. There we go. Okay? All right. 4 times 4 is 16. So here we go on the left. Y divided by negative 2. What is negative 15.5 plus 16? Negative $15.50 in debt, and then somebody gives me $16. How much do I have my balance? 50 cents, half. And it's a positive. Make it a decimal. Okay. X squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay? All right, what does that become when I make it into a parentheses squared?
X plus 8.
No, not 8.
X plus 4.
It's the number that I underlined in red. Okay. This is like really great so far, Vertex form. I like it. Next step. Take a break, senor. Next. You subtract 0.5. Okay. Y divided by negative 2 equals x plus 4, quantity squared, minus a half. Still doing 0.5s. Now let's get rid of that last thing there in storage that's on the left. It says divided by negative 2. Multiply by negative 2. Let me do it. I'll do it in blue. Times negative 2 over 1. Everything in front of my parentheses for my A times negative 2 over 1. And the 0.5. Okay. On the left, my negative 2's cancel. Then I have just a y on the left. Okay? All right. What's my A? My A, what's my A?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. X plus 4 squared. What is a half times negative 2? Half times 2. 2 halves make a whole. A 1 whole. 1 plus 1. Here's our equation. Y equals negative 2 x plus 4 squared plus 1. What's our vertex?
Negative 4, 1.
Negative 4, comma 1. All right, make it on your graph. Go over negative 4 and up 1. Okay. Now let me teach you how to do some other things, because you said you weren't too hot on making a table of values. So let's not do that. Okay. There's a couple things that we need to talk about. We can find the Y-intercept by plug in 0.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
It's one of my greatest hits. Yeah. All right. So, plug in 0 for x. Let's do that. Y equals negative 2, parentheses 0 plus 4 squared plus 1. Because if I can figure out where my parabola is going to hit the y-axis, where it will intersect the y, then it can help me decide how fat and skinny my graph will look. All right. Y equals negative 2 times 0 plus 4 is 4 squared plus 1. Negative what? 16 times 2. Ay, ay, ay. So here's my problem. My graph isn't big enough. But it was still worth me trying, because this beats me making a table of values. So even though my graph is way down here,
16 times 2 is 32.
plus times 2. Oh, sorry. Okay. 16 times 2, negative 32 plus 1. Okay? I guess I shouldn't just trust what someone says, huh? Negative 31. Again, negative 31 is still way too low. It's going to hit way, 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 way down. So now we can try and find our X-intercepts. Our X-intercepts are found by going back to our original OG. Our x-intercepts, now here's the deal with the x-intercepts. It would be me factoring this problem. Okay. Can you think of two parentheses that multiply to make 31 and add up to negative 16, and there's a 2, so we could use star method. Negative 2 times negative 31, 62, negative 16. A and A. Do you remember this?
Of course.
From 2 chapters ago. All right. A times C. B is at the bottom. My numbers negative 2 and negative 2 are my A's. There's always a chance that this could not be factorable. What two numbers multiply to make 62 and add up to 16?
I don't think that's possible in scratch.
31 times 2.
No.
No? Okay, so here we are. We found the y-intercept. It's way too low for us to grab, negative 31. And then we tried to find our x-intercepts. Remember, our x-intercepts is going to be like where it hits here. Like, it could be like there and there or something like that. But that didn't work for us either. So now we have to either do quadratic formula, or we have to do, well, table of values.
Oh, man.
So you probably feel like we just wasted time, right? Okay. We've got a problem that's got a 31 in it, so it's going to be weird to begin with. And we tried the things that normally are shortcuts for us. They just weren't this time. There's nothing we can do about that. If we want to try our shortcuts first, it's a good idea because many times it will work for us to find the y-intercept. Usually the y-intercept is not negative 31. That's really, really rare. And then our x-intercepts are obviously going to be decimals. Because look, you guys, this is going to be a graph that goes down. Even if I try to estimate it, it's going to be something like this, where my x-intercepts are not numbers that I can just like guess. Oh, that looks like a negative 3 point. You can't do that. So my problem is that now I'm stuck. Negative 4, 1. Now I'm stuck actually having to make a table of values, which I wanted to avoid to begin with. But I wouldn't have known that unless I tried the shortcuts. So I have to show you these shortcuts. Okay? I'm sorry. Now we'll do a table of values. You don't have room on your paper, so I am A-okay with you guys watching me. Yeah. Would you like, now here's the question. Would you like to make a table of values from this and plug in X? Or would you like to make a table of values from this and plug in X? Which green underline?
The top one.
Which one would you like to make a table of values from? Which one seems easier to you?
The top one.
The top one is easier.
Smaller numbers.
Those of you that said the top one, just be like, whoop, whoop. Okay. So, here we go. You can just watch me. Don't lose focus. Stay with me. I'll wander around. I'll tap you on the shoulder with my Apple pencil. All right, here we go. Okay, my vertex was negative 4, 1. That goes in the middle. Remember how we do this. I then pick two numbers that are smaller than negative 4. That would be negative 5 and negative 6. I then pick two numbers that are bigger than negative 4. That would be negative 3 and negative 2. I want a good span for my parabola. 2 points on the left of the vertex, 2 points on the right of the vertex. All right, here we go. I need volunteers. I need 4 volunteers. Edgar, plug in negative 6. Okay, 3 more volunteers.
No, have them do lower numbers. It's easier.
Someone want to plug in -2?
No, because we can get the same.
Thank you, Nancy. Plug in -2. Italo, plug in -3. I'll do -5. I can work. I can do some work. Hold on, I'm not quite ready, sir.
Come on, buddy.
All right. I got my -1. I'm going to press pause for a second. All right, here's our completed order pairs. Now we can graph our parabola. Start graphing your parabola on the paper. Remember, it's a -2 that leads the way, so that means it's what kind of shape? Or like which direction?
It's a down.
Down. -6, -7. Are we running out of space? -4, -5, -6. -5, -1. -3, -1. -2, -7. Make your parabola as good looking as you can. Yes. All right, there we go. All right, so here we've got an example. Y equals x squared plus 6x plus 7. We need to complete the square. This is not complicated. There's no number that's leading the way. It's just a positive sign. It's good. This is a good looking, easy problem. First step, what? Let's go fast, guys. What is it?
Move the 7.
Subtract 7. Oh, leave a little space. Okay. B is 6. What's B over 2 squared? 3 squared. So I'm going to do plus 3 squared on the left, plus 3 squared on the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. It's all right. It just shows you how old I am, and that's just great. Yeah.
Is it okay if we simplify 3 squared?
Yeah, to make it 9?
Yeah.
Do it. What is, by the way, -7 plus 9?
2.
-7 plus 9. David, you with me?
Yeah. Going ahead.
Oh, good. I like that, actually. What is the factored form of what goes in parentheses for my perfect square trinomial? X squared plus 6x plus 9.
X plus 3 squared.
X plus 3 squared. Last step,
Subtract 2 both sides.
subtract 2. Y equals x plus 3 squared, take away 2. What's my vertex?
3. Why is it negative?
Because it's always the opposite sign of whatever this number in, because it's really negative HK. So it's whatever H is, which is the 3, but it's the opposite symbol. Okay, so my vertex is -3, -2. So let me expand. That should be good. Okay. Graph -3, -2. Is this going to open upward or downward?
I'm going to say downward.
Well, does it start off with a positive or a negative?
Negative, so it goes down.
No, it starts out with positive x squared. Positive 1x. That's a upward parabola. I am going to have you do the Y-intercept shortcut. Because this time, I already planned ahead. It's going to work. Y-intercept means plug in 0 for x. Plug in 0 for x. Y equals 0 plus 3 squared minus 2. Y equals 3 squared minus 2. Y equals 9 minus 2. Am I going too fast right now?
No, you're perfect.
Oh, okay. Because no one was talking, I got scared. All right. Okay. Here's the deal. I know it's going to go upward. I know that there's a dot on the y-axis at 7. That's called my y-intercept. I can now make the shape of my parabola because half of it is drawn. How would I draw the other half?
You would have. Oh,
Make the table of
I don't want to make a table of values. That's too much work. How would I be able, because here's one half of it. Boop. How am I going to make the other half?
axis of symmetry. You would just.
Woo! What? Vocab word explosion.
Yeah.
I'll do grant book for that. I like that.
That's my boy.
Okay, so here's the deal. Let's do this in orange, which is going to be hard for you to see, but I need to show you how this works. The axis of symmetry runs straight down the middle of my parabola, and right now there's 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. So my axis of symmetry on the left is also going to have 1 space, 2 space, 3 space. This is going to be -6, comma, -7. That's the ordered pair. And I'm done. So much quicker than the first one, yeah? Okay. Okay. We do this one. Okay, there's something I want to talk to you about. Remember on the first example on the front side? Hey. Remember on the first example on the front side how I had a 31 and then I had to cut it in half, 15.5? See this 7 right here? If I cut 7 in half, I'm going to have a decimal again. Here's something you can do. You can add the 7 right away now, if you want. Or we can divide by -2. I don't think it was too difficult dealing with the decimal, and I want to keep the routine of first you do this, first you do this, first you do this, so that you guys don't. I'm not going to be doing different methods every question since we're still learning. It just doesn't. It's not a smart thing for a teacher to do. Okay? So what I'm going to do is stick with my plan of factoring out a -2 first. Okay, positive x, I'm not going to mess up on this one, I promise you. Plus 4x plus, ooh, what's half of $7? What's half of 7?
3.5.
Don't worry about the 3.5, we're going to move it to the left side storage area anyways. How do I get rid of that -2? Divide it, do it real quick. Divide by -2, divide by -2. Leave space. Tell someone next to you what you're going to do next to start completing the square. Go. 15 seconds. Tell someone next to you what you're going to do next. Okay. Volunteer, what did someone say to their partner? What did you say?
Subtract 3.5.
Subtract 3.5, BS. Okay. My storage area on the left looks like this now. Leave space. X squared plus 4x. Take a breather, sir. Okay. Now, Say what? B over 2 squared. I'll do it in red. Plus 4 over 2. 2 squared. Left side. Plus 4 over 2. 2 squared. Okay. Here's my storage area. It's kind of crowded now. But what is negative 3.5 plus 4? You know 2 squared is 4. Jared? No? Okay. Negative 3.5 plus 4?
0.5.
0.5. Positive 0.5. My perfect square trinomial looks like this. Your job is to think of, because we're going to factor this perfect square trinomial on the right, x squared plus 4x plus 4. What two numbers multiply to make 4 and also add up to 4?
2.
Or perhaps you want to just say, what was the number that I had in parentheses right here? Negative y divided by 2 plus a half equals, I'm going to move up my math just a little bit because I'm kind of running out of space, x plus 2. Next, I'm almost to vertex form. Tyler. I want to get rid of the number all alone there first. My k. Yeah. Okay, good. Minus 0.5, minus 0.5. Y divided by, and you know what? That negative sign really belongs with the 2, and I've kind of been lazy about writing it right next to the 2. Let's not get lazy like that. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? You need to ask. Sitting here, staring, and just copying verbatim, you're not going to learn that way. Ask if you're confused. Yes, sir?
Where did the 2 squared come from?
The 2 squared in red,
In red.
that was this. 4 is my b, right?
Yes.
b divided by 2 squared.
Oh, okay.
4 divided by 2 squared. 2 squared. That's what I add to both sides. That's part of completing the square process. Okay? Are you good?
Yeah.
Is your question answered, sir?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes? This is not a different method. This is the same method we did on number 1. Okay, last step to get the y alone. Last step to get the y alone. Yes? Times both sides by negative 2 over 1. Let me do it in blue. Times negative 2 over 1. Everything. Put the a here and the 0.5. Parentheses are protected. Don't touch what's inside the parentheses. Parentheses are protected. And here's our y equals negative 2. Negative half times negative 2.
Oh,
Plus 1. What's my vertex?
Negative 2, 1.
Awesome.
Let's graph it.
All right. My Y-intercept. Let's see if that would be easy or not. I need to make space for it, so can you guys give me a second to... There's got to be an easier way. I think it's like... What's this do?
Positive the square.
Vertex, negative 2, comma 1. Let's remember that. Okay. There it is. If I want to try to find the Y-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0 for x. Okay, so do that. Plug it in, plug it in. Okay? Plug in 0 for x, or you could plug in 0 for the vertex form that we just found. What is my y-intercept going to be? It's easy because you know how 0 gets multiplied. So there's one number at the end there that isn't affected by the 0. My y-intercept is -7. Go on the y-axis and make your -7. And we never even drew our vertex in, -2, 1. Okay. Is my graph, is my parabola opening up or is it opening down? Down, how'd you know? Yes. And can I use my super cool axis of symmetry trick to figure out the other half of my parabola?
Of course.
You guys?
Any shortcuts.
All right, axis of symmetry. Oh, I did it in red last time. Boop, 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 boop. All right, 1 space, 2 spaces away. I made it in orange right here. See that?
Yes.
So go to the left, 1 space, 2 space away. Finish your parabola. And you know what? It's not going to look very curvy and pretty because I kind of made this look like a straight line. So it's like, there we go. So much better.
Yeah.
All right, let's do something different with number 3, just because I need to show you that you can. The something different is, let's say that I don't feel like changing it to vertex form every single time. And all I really want is the graph. Well, the directions may say graph the quadratic, or graph the equation, or graph the parabola. Well, if I really don't want to do vertex form and then completing the square and all that, then I can just do a table of values with my standard form right here. So this problem number 3, we're going to do the different method so that you guys can see that you can do whichever suits you best, whatever you prefer. So this is going to mean that I need to first find my vertex. What's my first job in finding a vertex? Does anyone remember?
Isn't it b squared?
So close?
Oh,
Yeah.
negative b over 2.
Negative b.
Over 2a.
Didn't know what you're asking.
Okay.
Over 2.
Yep. And that's really where the all over 2a, it all interlinks, guys. This math stuff, it connects. Can you believe it? All right.
West Coast connector.
A equals -3. B equals 18. C equals -31. Negative b, -18 over 2 times a. A is -3. -18 over -6 is what? -18 over -6. 3. Look where I put my 3 in my table of values. I put it right in the middle so that I could find 2 numbers smaller than 3 and 2 numbers bigger than 3. But the problem is I still haven't found my vertex. I know that the first part of it is 3, but how do I know what 3 comma what?
Well, we do the math, right?
Do the math. How? What do I do with the 3?
Well, couldn't we make this simpler this month by simply putting
No, I'm not completing the square. Remember, I'm going to do
you plug it in.
plug it. Yes.
Yeah.
If I know that x is 3,
Plug it in.
plug it into your original OG. Og. If you guys want comedy relief, just watch this for funny classroom comments. Here we go. -3 times 9. Ooh, 18 times 2 is 36. 18 times 3 is 54. Look at these crazy numbers. Okay. Negative 27 plus 54 minus 31. Hey, fun fact, 27 and 54 are like math buddies. Why? Why are 27 and 54 math buddies?
The square numbers.
Other numbers.
7, 8, 9.
It's because 7 and 9. See, the comedy never stops. Okay. Because 27 times 2 is 54. So that means that it's like half of one of the 27 is half of 54. So negative 27 plus 54 is a positive 27 minus 31. What is 27 take away 31?
-4.
There's my Y. There's my vertex. Let's do it right now. 3 comma negative 4. Hey, what do you notice about the graph?
It's positive. It's positive numbers.
It's
I know, positive.
okay. What do you notice about the way that the graph is counted?
It has negative y-axis,
It only shows negatives.
and it's by twos.
So what we have to do is notice that it's all like negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, etc. So I'm going to do 2 and 1, 2 numbers smaller than 3. Let's finish our table of values. And then 4 and then 5, right? Okay. So, dun dun dun, plug in 2, plug in 1, plug in 4, plug in 5 for this entire equation. You know, we don't really need to plug in all 4 numbers. What can we do that's a shortcut that we learned?
Do the top two.
We can do the top 2, and then it makes a pattern. My Y values make a pattern when I'm doing a parabola, always. So really just plug in 1 and plug in 2. All right, when we plug in a positive 1, we get, when we plug in a positive 2, we get,
I'll work on that right now.
3. I don't know. 3 doesn't seem like it would be in the pattern. This is what I got. 24 minus 31. So, negative 7. So tell me, what would 4 be? 4 comma what? Using the pattern, yes. What would 5 be using the pattern?
Negative 16.
Thank you. This is why the numbers on the graph are by 2s, because it's not,
So awkward.
yeah. I'll do red. Okay, let's do the vertex first. 3 comma negative 4. 3 means that you go in the middle of 2 and 4. 3 comma negative 4. Okay, now let's go to 1, negative 16. 1 is in the middle of 0 and 2. 2, negative 7.
It's a skinny one.
4, negative 7. Wow, my. 5, negative 16. Draw your parabola. Axis of symmetry would be what? My axis of symmetry is x equals 3.